Hello everybody, this is Con. Once again, I'm in the second generation Mazda CX-5. Now, in my previous video, I've reviewed this car in its 2.2 diesel front-wheel drive specification. That is the second most expensive version of the CX-5, priced at 164,000 ringgit. There's of course the range-topping 2.2 diesel all-wheel drive model, priced at 10,000 ringgit extra, offering the same level of equipment. This one that I'm driving here today is the base 2.0 GL petrol front-wheel drive model. It is priced at 134,000 ringgit. So it is a full 30k cheaper than the 2.2 diesel front-wheel drive version that I tested earlier lah. Okay, so above this one, this grade, okay, there is a second 2.0 GLS petrol front-wheel drive model that goes for 148,000 ringgit. 14,000 on top of this model. Okay, so having extensively reviewed and also driven the diesel model in my earlier video, this video will just focus, on comparing the merits between the different variants of the CX-5, and attempt to come to a conclusion whether this base model is already a good enough CX-5 for the money. All right, so for starters, this test car is finished in the signature Soul Red Crystal paint. Okay, this is an extra 2,000 ringgit on top of your car's purchase price. It is available with all model grades of the CX-5. Okay, it is a very distinctive shade, but just be warned one thing. On top of the 2,000 ringgit premium over the over the regular colors. Okay, the Soul Red Crystal paint is also a more expensive paint to maintain and to respray in the event of an accident damage. So take note of that, okay, before you plunge head on into one of these. Now, so this being the base model, for starters, the headlights are different. Okay, the main beam, okay, is still LED illuminated like the diesel model that we tested earlier. Okay, but this one does not have adaptive front lighting. Adaptive front lighting only comes into the picture from the 2.0 GLS model. Okay, this one also has bulb type daytime running lights. The LED daytime running lights with a distinctive illumination signature, that only comes in from the 2.0 GLS model as well. Okay, and you also notice that the bumpers here are blank, so this one does not have front parking sensors. Now you come to the side, okay, so compared to the diesel model that we tested earlier, which had 19-inch wheels, these have 17-inch alloy wheels. Okay, and remember I said that the diesel model, right, even with 19-inch alloy wheels, the CX-5 already looks under-tired. So just look at this one with 17-inch alloy wheels, right? The wheels actually look even smaller, but there is a benefit to using 17-inch alloy wheels. First of all, your fuel consumption is better, you have better ride comfort, and also tire replacement costs are lower. Although these days the pricing gap between 18-inch and 19-inch and the higher size tires are not as big as they used to be, but still the fact of the matter remains, tire prices increase with size. So 17-inch wheels, okay, may not look as handsome as the bigger wheels admittedly, but it saves you running costs in the long run. So rest of the car, the overall styling of this car, nothing new here. Okay, this is the same basic appearance as the diesel model that we tested earlier, the higher grade GLS model that we tested earlier. So you notice the 2.0 GL badge indicating this is the base model. Okay, so look closely at the tail lights. Okay, bulb illuminated. Okay, the 2.0 GLS upwards adds LED illumination. Right, so far from the outside, you can see that this 2.0 GL has a bit of items down-spec'd, but not excessively, and certainly not enough to make the car look bad lah. Okay, although the head and tail lights are a lower grade from the higher spec models, but it is still a well-designed unit. It doesn't look cheap, and you still get front LED headlights, so it's not bad. Okay, now let's go inside. Ah, crap, no keyless entry. So this is one thing that I personally find a bit difficult to accept. Opening the doors the old-fashioned way. Okay, but once you get that out of it, right, inside is not too bad at all. Okay, so you lose leather seats, you get fabric, but that's not a problem for me because I personally have a preference for fabric seats, although my own personal cars in my household are upholstered in leather. Okay, so that aside, also seat adjustment is manual, but not a deal breaker. Not a deal breaker at all. I mean, how often do you adjust your seats anyways? And even if you do, how difficult it is to adjust your seats manually? I mean, adjust your seat forward, backward. Not a problem, but so losing the electric adjusting seats, not a big deal to me, right? And although this car does not have keyless entry, there is still the engine start-stop button. But personally, I don't find the point in it because when you already have to pull your key out to unlock your door, right? And then when you step in, okay, then your key is like you're holding your key there in your hands, and you don't know and you have to look for somewhere to put your keys. So I personally always prefer, if your car does not have a keyless entry, right, there is no point to provide the start-stop button. Okay, but that being said, I personally believe that it is actually perhaps cheaper, right, for Mazda to just standardize all the interiors with the start-stop button. So all they do in their costing, when they cost up or cost down the car, is just to decide whether or not to add the keyless entry module at the door. Okay, because otherwise, if they don't do this, then which means that they have to design a second steering column mold with the ignition barrel, and that adds cost to the car's construction. Okay, so from here, okay, I can see this is pretty decent. Okay, I've got auto headlights, I have got auto wipers, I have got cruise control, I've got voice command. Okay, now the there's a trip computer here. So the CX-5 Diesel version that I tested earlier, this multi-info display is in color. Here we have it in monochrome, but that's fine because, yeah, it's a slightly less impressive display, but all the information you need is there. You've got average fuel consumption, you've got instantaneous fuel consumption, you've got cruising range, temperature, fuel level. Good enough, cukup makan. Okay, then here, along here, so you see this is the, let me show you the infotainment screen. So it still has the touch function. Okay, and when you come back, and you still also have the rotary knob control feature, so you just adjust the menu from the rotary control knob. So this is, as we have mentioned before, one of the better systems in the market. There's a shortcut button here for GPS navigation, although the car does not come equipped with GPS. So when you press this nav shortcut button, what you would get is a compass. Okay, and it actually shows you your GPS coordinates. Okay, it's just that it does not have a navigation feature as well. So the car actually is built with a GPS detector, but not equipped with the navigation software. So maybe sometime down the road, not that I recommend this, by the way, but what you call it, you know, a creative enough accessory shop will be able to hack into this and install a GPS navigation software in there at a certain expense. Although personally, if you ask me, not worth the money, because these days and age, just stick your phone on the windscreen, use Waze to navigate your way through. Okay, yeah, but the overall appearance of the cabin, whether you are sitting in this car, okay, then you jump into the highest grade 2.2 all-wheel drive diesel model, your only noticeable upgrades, okay, in terms of your materials and your build quality and all that, perhaps are just only the leather seats, because everything else here, right, okay, except for the seats and also the colored trip computer, everything else here looks the same. It does not. So when I jump, okay, from the high-spec diesel model to this one, where the appearance is concerned, it does not feel like I have saved 30,000 ringgit. And in terms of function, you know, along the center console, there's still a 12-volt socket here, like the higher grade models. And more importantly, there's still 4 USB ports inside this car. 2 here, 2 at the armrest there, as I've illustrated in the diesel model. Okay, yeah. But other than, yeah, so basically, even at this grade, okay, this base model, Mazda gives you a very, very complete car. Okay, so looking through the spec list again, right, okay, the 2.0 GL model here, you still get a decent suite of equipment, okay. I've listed the full, I've put the full list on the description section, but to run through the important ones, okay, are the ones that I have yet to cover thus far in the video. You get an auto dimming rear view mirror, you get dual zone climate control, you get a reverse camera, okay, pretty decent reverse camera. You get 4 USB ports, okay, as I've illustrated in the diesel model. 2 in the center console box, 2 at the armrest, okay. Yeah, 6 airbags, EBS, EBD, electronic stability control, ISOFIX, okay. Now, the 14,000 premium for the two-wheel drive, the 2.0 two-wheel drive GLS model, okay, that one gets you the LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, LED tail lights, keyless entry, front parking sensors, leather seats, electric driver seat adjustment, GPS navigation, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, and forward autonomous emergency braking system. 160,000 gets you the 2.5 two-wheel drive model, okay. That is a 12,000 leap from the 2.0 GLS, and that one only adds 19-inch alloy wheels and only increases your engine capacity to 2.25 liters, which I've said my piece on the 2.2 diesel GLS model. That is 164,000 ringgit, okay, which is a 4,000 ringgit upgrade from the 2.5 petrol model, okay. That one adds what, 4, okay, so that one changes the trip computer from monochrome to color. So what, no big deal. Adaptive LED headlights, okay. Okay, but it does add lane departure warning, it adds lane keep assist, it adds drowsiness detection, and it adds autonomous emergency braking, you know, rearward detection. So what happens is that if the car detects a fast rushing vehicle coming from the back, what it does is that it clamps all the brakes to prevent you from being pushed forward by an imminent collision from the back to kena the car in front. So that would spare you from being involved in, you know, one of those lengthy, you know, car bang, like those long stretch of, you know, several car pileups. It may help either help you avoid it or help you at least mitigate your potential damage lah. Okay, now then when you come to the, then of course the 2.2 GLS diesel two-wheel drive model, you top up another 10,000 for the range topping all-wheel drive model. Okay, right, so before we come to our conclusion on this car's merits, let's hit the road for a drive. Right, now in my video of the diesel model, okay, I concluded that if you want your CX-5 with the diesel engine, okay, to handle all that torque from the diesel engine, you really need to take the all-wheel drive model. Okay, now of course the option of all-wheel drive is not available with the petrol model, okay, but such is the, because the petrol model is naturally aspirated, the power delivery is a lot more linear, a lot easier to manage. So not having the option of two-wheel drive, so not having the option of four-wheel drive with the petrol model is not a big deal. Okay, I mean, with 155 horses, 200 Newton meters of torque, it is not that easy to wheel spin this car. And for this engine at this power level, two-wheel drive, good enough, no complaints from me. So as we know from the predecessor model, the CX-5 memang has very good handling one. This one maintains that high benchmark, okay, and refines a bit more of its rough edges. So overall, it feels genuinely a better car to drive, okay, and a far more refined car. The engine feels actually very, very punchy. Okay, I remember back then, before the first gen CX-5, when I first test drove that car, right, I was quite taken aback at how sluggish that car actually felt at the time. Okay, because at the time Mazda was just new with this Sky Active technology thing, and they were very focused on, you know, maximizing fuel efficiency, that the engines were tuned to be more laid back in the name of you know, of saving fuel. But with this version, right, Mazda now has decided, okay, we want to give our cars that bit more zip, and yeah, so consequently, right now, this CX-5, even with a base 2-liter petrol engine, right, it feels, you know, more responsive, more punchy. Usually, right, when we drive a 2-liter NA version of any given SUV in this category, X-Trail, CR-V, whatnot, right, the performance tend to always be like so-so only one. You know, it's like just about enough, cukup makan, not too slow, but not definitely wouldn't be fast lah. But this one, actually, the CX-5 actually feels properly responsive. It feels like, you know, the engine feels like it is quite capable of pulling the weight with a fair degree of enthusiasm. Okay, yeah, so much so that it renders I've not driven the 2.5 model, okay, but having driven this one, I fail to see the need for the 2.5 liter model. Okay, where performance is concerned, right, I think the 2-liter petrol, good enough. You want a sizable, you want a noteworthy upgrade from this, go all the way to the diesel engine and take all-wheel drive in the process as well. Okay, right, yeah, so the second generation CX-5, a very, very good product, right? Even in this base model as tested, it scores very highly as a competent mid-size family SUV that I would highly recommend for any buyer shopping at this price tag. Okay, if 134,000 ringgit is the best that you can afford, okay, then take this 2-liter GL model with no regrets. The only real drawback to this at this spec level to me is just the absence of keyless entry, and that's about it. Of course, the 14,000 upgrade to the 2.0 GLS model is highly recommended if you can afford it, and I strongly recommend that you do, because think about it, if you spread that 14k over your typical 5 or 7 year loan period, it doesn't add up too much, you know, to your monthly repayments. So if you can work out your finances to accommodate the 2.0 GLS model, I highly recommend that you take it. If you want something substantially better than this, skip the 2.5 liter model, go straight to the diesel variant and take all-wheel drive. That's all. Okay, I mean, this view is valid whether you look at the CX-5 from a, you know, as a product, you know, in terms of the equipment on offer, or its driving experience. Either way, right, you can't escape that same conclusion one. The 2.0 GL, good value. 2.0 GLS, even better. You want the best, 2.2 all-wheel drive diesel. That's it. Forget the 2.5 petrol, right? So that concludes my thoughts on the Mazda CX-5 base model petrol. So share with me your thoughts of this car in the comment section. Until my next video, thanks for watching. Bye for now.